It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
Hey, this a
yeah. Did it like
it's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Watch, shit don't never stop. Stop. Stop.
yeah.
No problem with it.
Do it like
Stop.
No.
It's the flow that got the block high.
No, no.
High. High. It's the flow that got the block high.
No problem with it.
It's the flow that got the block high. Shit don't never stop.
yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop. Damn, there's a dude. It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
yeah.
Hey, this a
yeah. Did it like
it's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Watch, shit don't never stop. Stop. Stop.
yeah.
No problem with it.
Do it like
Stop.
No.
It's the flow that got the block high.
No, no.
High. 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 It's the
Medic!
Scalpel. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on this glorious day.
And a friend.
You aren't duping the doctor. I mean, the doctors look into your eyes.
Jeez, and the fight is over! Michael Chandler! Michael Chandler! What did I tell you fools?
What's up, boys and girls? This is UFC lightweight Michael Chandler. And I'm just telling you right now, if you don't go to YouTube and hop on the MMA Bet Surgeon channel, like and subscribe and ingest and digest some of the best UFC mixed martial arts and boxing predictions on the planet, on the internet, then you're doing it wrong. Appreciate you guys. See you at the top.
Wah, we are back for another week. Fight Night 188, people. Hope everyone is, still having a good time, still enjoying the shit we're putting out. It varies every week. Some weeks you may have me there, some weeks you may have me going batshit nuts. I mean, it's part of the enjoyment. Not only are the fights random, but so sometimes is me. It adds to the delinquency. Hope everyone's excited. Me and Doug are out here doing another video with the Lieutenant, as always. Yeah. Sliding in there. What's up, Lieutenant?
Not much, man. Looking forward to breaking these down. But I'm liking, is that a new intro tagline you're trying to? What is that?
No, it was just kind of my way of opening up. I could open them up.
Are you gonna address the date change as well?
Yes. We'll start with the date change. Yeah. So date changes, obviously, we're thinking these are probably going to start taking place around 9:00. The houring will vary. Sometimes it might be 8:30. Maybe we even switch to 8 if that's better for everybody or whatever, right? We may even just keep them around 9:00. obviously our time here in North America, Eastern Standard. But as far as everything else goes, that's going to be the breakdown day Thursday. And then obviously you guys know Fight Guys is coming, and it's coming next week. Probably the best time for it to hit. I'm excited, man. I hope everyone else is. It's going to be Fight Guys Extravaganza. We're going to be doing me and Doug are going to be doing a podcast. You know, Dan is going to be there. He won't be able to be there all the time like he's saying to me, but he will make appearances, I'm sure. I wish there was a way we could even have him in just as, you know, in a little audio, and he could just unmute his shit and do his little comments and stuff. Because that's really if I had a soundboard, we could just clip stuff, you know what I mean, and just take it and then just play it every, you know.
No, it's impossible. I've never said the same thing twice. You can't even clip me. I don't repeat shit.
No, not comments on a fight. I mean, just little sound effects. But
okay.
Fight Guys
I swear
is gonna.
I've heard you make that exact same sound before.
Oh yeah, you can do those. Yeah, you can do those.
Soundboard.
Yeah, you can do those.
I'm putting some of those in the soundboard. But he does. So we're thinking about doing that. That's gonna be every Tuesday night. We're aiming for those on Tuesday as well, because I think Tuesday is probably the best day to do it, as far as, you know, when news is coming out and everything's kind of breaking, and, you know, you're getting, you know, fights called and us kind of giving, you know, the news, because it's really just going to be that. We're not going to break down the co-main, the main, and everything like that, because we already do that, right? So we're going to leave that specifically we'll talk about it. We're going to tell you what fights are coming up on the weekend, and we'll go through the card. We'll tell you every fighter, but we're not going to, as far as go into the breakdown, it's going to be more incentive for you guys to come here and watch these videos, or at least click on them like they always are. They're going to be on both channels. It's obviously going up on Twitch. There is always going to be thumbnails in the description to go through the videos. I'm not sure if they're working on PC right now, because it's I went on PC, as I said, I thought they were working on Friday, and I was super happy to start off the stream that I thought they fixed them. They're working on mobile. They're working on mobile, the thumbnails, like the chapters. But I haven't been able to see them recently on PC. Hopefully they're working to fix it, because before it wasn't working at all. But besides that, let's start, you know, cutting into this card. It's going to be an exciting one. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, that's for sure. I mean, as far as what the UFC is always trying to, you know, pull out, we've already had a couple, you know, losses on this card, but it's nothing too crazy. It's nothing that we're gonna, you know, that's gonna, you know, trip us out too bad. So, I mean, to start out the night, and this is the Tapology order. It's JP Buys taking on Bruno Silva. Okay, so we got a flyweight bout here at 125 pounds between JP Buys, 5'6" with a 67-inch reach, and Bruno Silva, 5'4" with a 66-inch reach. JP Buys is making his debut. Buys. It's a last name. It's very it is Bays.
It is the way you pronounce it.
It is Bays. It is Bays. I know we're
not tomato. It's a last name.
Dan knew I was gonna say that. Dan knew I was gonna say something like that. Thanks, Dan, for catching me there. It's his debut in the UFC with it. Other than making a Dana White Contender Series appearance, he's got a record of 9-2. He's got three knockouts and 5 submissions. He's very impressive. I'll go into his credentials kind of when I break him down, and kind of the other structures and what else he's kind of gone through and won. As far as Bruno Silva, 5'4" with a 66-inch reach, 0-2 in the UFC with a 10-5-2 MMA record, 3 knockouts, 3 subs. I mean, another guy. This is it. I mean, UFC. That's obviously kind of scary. We'll start with Bruno Silva. The 0-2 in the UFC. That's a very scary thing to look at. Obviously, if you're the fighter or whoever you are, you're the promotion, you're people onlookers. Maybe this is a wrong signee. I mean, he's coming off 2 pretty close fights in my opinion. A fight in which he took Tiger Ulanbekov. He got a UD loss. I mean, throughout the fight, there were some good leg kicks starting for Silva. I mean, he was landing some punches. He was trying to close some distance in between. Throughout the fight, he did show some good takedown defense and movement. I mean, we even had the jabs, though. It kind of became in the second half of that fight. We had Tiger Ulanbekov kind of dictate the fight with the jab, and that kind of took over in the third as well. We did see Ulanbekov's leg was hurt from some of those harsh leg kicks like we talked about from the beginning, so that's always a key thing for Bruno Silva. Ulanbekov was trying to have some wrestling success throughout that fight, and he was able to work in some of these clinch positions, like landing on Bruno Silva, like kind of working really well. In the third, we kind of just saw, Silva doing some grappling, like not able to really dictate anything. but it was very, very, very close. Like, he did have some good grappling exchanges where he was threatening and he was dictating a lot of positions in the third. It was a very close fight throughout. As far as the David Dvorak fight, that was another UD loss. I mean, he had a hard time getting inside and closing range throughout the fight. Silva was able to rock Dvorak and step in with a knee and look to finish. He wasn't able to finish his takedown after that because after he rocked him, he went for the takedown. But he was having more control throughout the second round of that fight. He was working well in the clinch, and then Dvorak ended up pretty much coming on in that third round. So it's going to be really hard to tell. As far as JP Buys, he's coming off of a submission win over Jacob Silva. I mean, this is a very controversial one. This was that Dana White Contender Series appearance, which we were, kind of talking about. Little bit controversial. It was kind of like there was a transition, denying a takedown early in the fight. He was working pretty well. He was looking to work, heavy top control, work well, look to try and get side pressure. Like, he very, very talented wrestler, like national wrestling champion, brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He was a flyweight and a bantamweight in South Africa. I mean, he's very, very impressive, and he's got a good resume behind him. But in that fight, even though he did get the win, I mean, he was able to, soften him up, get punches, and then he ended up going for the head and arm, and then looked for the guillotine. But it was just a bad stoppage. We're not even putting it on the ref because he even realized himself that after he had made a mistake. But it's just one of those cases
when a guy's pinned up against the fence, not moving, pretty much because there was 15 seconds left. I would do the same thing. I'm just gonna tense up. I'm not gonna expend
have to do
caught
it
in a deeper
for
position
protection
and hold it out. But from Goddard's perspective, it's a strangulation choke, not a joint choke. So I'd be a bit more liberal with it. But it happens.
Yep, I agree. As far as like I said, we can call it a bad stoppage for sure. He was definitely looking to get him in a controversial position, in a bad position for Silva, and he was working well throughout the fight. So we're not going to take that away from him. The Christian Rodriguez fight, that was a knockout win. He started off with heavy leg kicks. His hands were quick. He was shooting for the takedown. Ended up taking that back pretty quickly, and then he pretty much just flattened him out and started raining down. It was pretty quick and. Pretty decisive in that one. He really steamrolled him. This is going to be one of those fights that, we're going to start the night with a pretty good fight, in my opinion. You get two guys, I think, who truly understand a good, well-roundedness of the sport. I think Buys being a guy who's, very heavy in top control. He has the ability to not only work to submit you, but to finish you from there. I think Silva's a guy who's very good wrestling as well. Very good TD, very good, some very good takedowns in his last fights. In his last two fights. Honestly, arguments could be made to say that, those last two fights, they're very close fights. I mean, as far as you see UD, they are very, very close fights, in my opinion. And if you do watch them back, they are close.
I think there's no way. Anybody would score them for him, though. You can't be saying that.
No. They're close fights. I think that Silva in his last two fights was also fighting guys who knew how to use the reach advantage over him, which he did have a pretty bad disadvantage in reach throughout those last two fights. He had to close distance at unopportune times. Maybe this is his fighting style and he's just not looking too well, and you can just really get exposed by a guy who knows how to use their range well. But even still, I see this fight being very close. I think it's a matter of Buys can keep Silva off the ground and work from there, which he does have the strength to do. Is he going to have the opportunity to do something like that? It's very, very interesting. I mean, honestly, and it's kind of crazy off the night, I'm actually picking Silva. I'm picking Silva to start tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got Buys in this one. I think he's a better striker for sure, and I think on the ground it's close. I think the wrestling is it's about 50-50. I'd give the slight advantage to Silva, and I think that's his only path to victory. But I could see Buys making this a mixed martial arts bout, and I tend to lean with the more complete guy. So I'll go with JP Buys by decision here.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be similar to what Sergio was saying. I think it's gonna be super super close fight. I think 7 out of 10 times this fight goes the distance. Obviously, anything can happen, but I think it's a high chance we see this fight go the distance, which I think kind of does favor Silva a little bit. That being said, I'm still going to go with Buys. I'm not going to be betting too heavily on him, though. Maybe throw him in a parlay or something like that. Start off the night because, I do think kind of like Dougie's saying, a bit better everywhere. and I think he'll be able to grind him out in a close decision. I'm not willing to bet heavily on it. So,
I'm not betting heavily on this one.
But yeah,
it's going to be
JP
close.
Based,
What's Silva by
decision will be my pick.
submission out of curiosity? Is that out yet?
That's also the beauty of us
That's
doing these on
doing these
Thursdays.
on
We get
Thursdays.
more.
We have the rounds now too, Doug. Get crazy.
Beauty.
Get wild. Let me see.
I just want to say.
No, I
Silva
don't
by
mind
submission.
like Silva round 3 or something. Kind
Gotta
of
go down 8-1.
Silva submission.
Not bad.
Yeah, if he catches him on it, if he gets late sloppy takedown or something like that, or
Yeah.
Be nice and early when he's dry.
What's just the stoppage?
Yeah, what's the stop? What's the decision pick for? There it is. This to win by decision 3.75. It's not great. I'm not even gonna touch that. I might not touch this fight at all. I don't think I will.
I'm sure you will.
Of course.
We always say we're not going to touch it, and then we get bored and wind
But
up
yeah,
throwing
like
a
if
bunch of money.
we're advising not to go anything too deep on this.
But
one.
yeah,
this will be
no,
a pretty much toss up to open up the card. I think.
Good fight though. Give me a real great fight. In my opinion.
Be a good fight. Not worth
Yep.
putting your money on though.
No, not too much. Well, we you guys know we're always showing you guys. We're trying to show you guys what we're betting on live. I mean, here we go. Up to the next one. This is kind of one of the only women's fight I did a lot of in-depth research on. The other two kind of fell to the wayside by accident. Bantamweight women's fight at 135 pounds between Julija Avila, 5'7" with a 59-inch reach, and Julija Storliarenko, 5'7" with a 69-inch reach. Avila 2-1 in the UFC with an 8-2 MMA record, 4 knockouts, 1 sub. Storliarenko 0-1 in the UFC with a 9-4-2 MMA record. 2 knockouts, no subs. Avila's coming off a UD loss to Sijara Eubanks, and pretty much, it was a sprint from the opening bell. You saw Avila, keeping her head in the center, just throwing bop, 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 right down, what do we call it? Rock'em Sock'em Robots, just her and Sijara Eubanks going at it, and Sijara knew right off the bat. She was actually playing that one very smart. Takedowns, and Sijara was just looking to clinch and then look for takedowns. She had good boxing to start the second one. She was able to get up off the round, and then basically did the kind of same flurry of hooks, and kind of, taken down again. She ended up looking for a triangle and then a knee bar off the ground, but Sijara was able to get into side control and then just look to work and submit. She ended up looking real tired after round 2, and then she was also taken down in round 3 and controlled heavy. She had she took shots throughout the rest of the round. 4 minutes in a second and 3 minutes plus in the third, so we'll say about 4 minutes of ground control in the third for Sijara Eubanks. And Sijara Eubanks not one of these girls that's completely known for her grappling ability. This is kind of going to be one of those toss-up fight, definitely a harder fight to call. As far as Storliarenko goes, she's coming off of a UD loss to Yana Kunitskaya, in which, she showed some good clinch control throughout the fight. She was landing some good shots, some knees in the clinch, looking to be strong in those positions. I mean, really, we kind of broke this Yana Kunitskaya-Storliarenko fight recently down because we were talking about Yana Kunitskaya. And she just came out and won that last fight. And this was one of the fights, was one of those key fights, like a strong girl like Storliarenko, but Kunitskaya was able to, credit to her, able to just use, good clinch boxing and, mix it up. Even though Storliarenko was trying to get some work in, she just wasn't having much success. She was just pretty much being pinned to the fence by Kunitskaya and just controlled. She had the wrist just controlled beautifully. You had the fight, the strike numbers being 52-12, 65-2 in those first 2 rounds for Yana Kunitskaya over Julija Storliarenko. She was continued to get pressured throughout the third. She was landing well, in the clinch a little bit. We saw Storliarenko just trying to pretty much looking very gassed at that point. She had been outmanned, been outplayed at that position the whole fight, held there, beat up. There was some positions where we saw, submissions for Storliarenko, and she kind of tried to look to get some late, but she was just not able to get those. I think I see Avila and Storliarenko being a close fight. Both women come in the game plan that I would say, you got to come in with something good after setback, after these setback losses that each woman has taken, and it's somewhat been in devastating fashion for each of them. I think they were both set to win those fights, but showing some prominent holes in each of their games they did, and I think cardio is definitely going to be a factor for both these women. I think where this fight takes place is going to be dictated, is going to be important. I think Avila ended up to be, if she ends up putting together some good combos, I think it's going to be a good question because like she tried to do that against Sarge. She ended up, getting taken down, held down in the second and the third. And in Storliarenko's fight, we watched her pretty much get dominated against the fence by Yana Kunitskaya. It's going to be a hard fight to call, but I believe Avila is going to end up using the smarter movement on the hands and feet and continue to put her punches together, but not getting reckless and swinging into a takedown. I'm taking Avila via decision. Avila.
I agree.
Avila.
I think this fight takes place mainly standing. I think Avila is just clearly the better striker. I think she is going to dictate the pace of this. You guys know, always talking about the pace. She puts that on Storliarenko for 3 rounds. I think puts together a clear decision win.
Wow.
Those are some steep odds, though.
That's
Shout
stupid.
out Blues. I'm same with you guys, but I could not want to stay farther away from this fight. I don't know what's gonna happen, but like that's a crazy.
I'm throwing a couple shekels down on the dog on that one. No problem.
What, you're sheckling on that? Shekels?
I think I'm just not going to touch this fight.
Why is that such? What is going on? Like,
there's a lot of great fights with a lot of great value tonight. I'm not fucking around with some of these. Like, who knows what's happening? Like, I think Avila's gonna win, but am I gonna bet on her at those odds? No. Stay away.
I hear you.
Because I don't think Julija is gonna win. I just don't like. I understand there's a lot of value there, but I personally still don't think it's worth it because there's so much other value on the card.
Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about me betting on?
Julija.
Yeah.
The dog.
Huge dog. Okay, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah,
we're
but
not
I'm
talking
saying,
about it. Go scroll down it. We'll look through it. We'll look through it. We're not going to touch this though. Like,
but I see what you mean. Like you're saying, I'll put some dollars on it. But I'm saying, as far as
go down, I want to see how crazy these odds get.
It's a crazy.
6-1. 6-1 to win on points. Oh, what the hell? What do they think's going on?
That's not bad, actually. That's not bad.
I'll be playing around with some of these odds. It might be too enticing. I could see Doug's licking his lips from all the way over there.
Nah, I'm passing.
Like I was saying, like there's just so much other value.
This fight's too early in the night for me to be throwing dumb shit around.
Exactly.
I like the favorite. The favorite's not a playable favorite. I'll just leave that one alone.
We're all picking a Via, but I'm sure if you want to tune into for the craziness that the surgeon's going to be cooking up, tune in on Saturday. Watch these great fights with us.
All right, we'll be flying through these. It'll be a good night. You guys should definitely come. Bantamweight fight at 135 pounds between Montel Jackson, 5'10" with a 75.5-inch reach, taking on Jesse Strader. 5'7" with a 68-inch reach. Jackson 3-2 in the UFC with a 9-2 MMA record, 5 knockouts, 1 sub. Strader's making his debut in the UFC. He is 5-1 in his professional record with 4 knockouts, no subs. Montel Jackson's coming off a UD loss to Brett Johns, in which he was landing some good 1-2s down the pipe to start out the fight. He ended up getting clinched. Montel ended up avoiding a takedown and then was able to, he ended up got taken down right after that. There was constant pressure from Brett Johns. He was able to, break and drop break pressure and then drop Johns with a 1-2 down the middle, hop on and try to do some work, ending the round, probably winning that round. He was able to defend takedowns in the second and break some clinch throughout the rest of that fight with some good shots using wrist control, but it was just the same game for Johns in the third, all defended, most of the takedowns defended, but not tons of shots landed. There was just so much close pressure from Johns the entire fight, especially on the cage. It didn't let Montel Jackson get working at all. As far as the Philip Diaz Caleres fight, that was a fast 1-2 down the pipe. We saw that throughout the fight from Montel Jackson. That's what he has. He has really good punching power and speed, I'd say. Not really good, but he does have good punching power, in very good speed. Like, it's crisp, not a lot of fat on the shots. You don't really see him coming. He was kicking from range well. Jackson was able to get a takedown. He does have a wrestling background. He was able to use a lot of wrist control and look to impose his wrestling work. He was able to finish the round with a flurry of punches, and he pretty much landing hard. And then starting the second, he started with a knockdown, and then he was not able to finish that fight, but he was pretty much putting it on Caleres the whole fight. It was just a very good fight. Strader, the only fight that I was able to find, I wasn't able to find the Michael Jackson fight. I didn't. The guy's name is Michael Jackson. But I was able to find the Isaiah Bettine fight. Isaiah Betin Gonzalez fight in which he got a knockout win. He was moving well to avoid punches. He was trying to look to come back with a flurry. His hooks looked sloppy. He ended up getting clipped coming in and almost dropped, which just doesn't look very good. It was very, very uneasy throwing and everything. Good body work. He was a little bit, you just see it trying to throw way too hard. Throw out all the shots way too hard. Needs to tune it way down. He ended up throwing a great bolo punch on his opponent, which he was able to, rock him, partially drop him. And then he was able to sit on some hard leg kicks. And then pretty much he charged forward, releasing his combo, touched the chin. It went body, chin. And his opponent was out. I see the range and length of Jackson combined with all of his well-rounded ability probably getting him a decision victory in this fight just based on the fighting style of Strader. He is a good combination puncher when he puts the punches together as far as mixing up the shots. Like, I think he does that well. And he does have you really looking for you to drop your hands and then connect with your chin. But he does throw his punches with all of his force. And this can either cause the speed and rate of those shots to slow down, which we've seen, and or he just, he throws himself into takedowns and out of position and into counters. He does have that ability to sit in the pocket and trade. Like, I do think he is tough. I don't see Jackson allowing him inside. I don't think that if Jackson implements some of his wrestling and clinch work, it's going to be a long day for Strader, in which he's going to pretty much need to get the knockout to beat Jackson. But I think he's going to end up failing and gassing in this fight. I think that Montel Jackson is going to win via finish.
You got a round prediction?
I want to say second or third, but I don't know how that second round's going to go. You know what I mean? It could be high pace, could be very slow. I had decision written down, but then I thought about it and I said, nah, he could finish this guy. I said he could probably finish this guy.
I think Montel finishes this guy in the first round.
I've got it as a KO. Yeah, I think
first round.
I think this guy, from what I've seen, like he's he's obviously he's knocking people out, but he's pretty void of as far as like technical striking is concerned. He walks forward, he throws these hooks from pretty much from the hips, and gets these guys that just stand in front of him get absolutely stunned when they start getting hit in the body.
Yeah.
Put their chins up in the air and they get clocked. Montel Jackson is.
It's pretty basic shit. Like, Dan, would you not agree that's pretty basic shit though, to stand there and say, "Hey, work your way up and then go to the chin." Like, that's pretty. Like, these guys that you're going to see, you're not just going to be able to implement good boxing on Montel Jackson. Very well.
Who is going to let them up?
That's what I mean.
He's going to let you forward and open up with hooks to the body.
Couple people,
left, right.
There's a couple nuts. There's a couple nuts.
Some people, not Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson's a good striker.
No, I know.
Jackson's a good all-round fighter, and I think, I think I'll be able to finish him. Finish him in the third round.
I think it's one of those fights where you got the one guy who's just a bit of a sharper striker, or not a bit. He's a lot of a sharper striker.
Yeah,
I see him knocking him out.
I would agree.
I'd go with second round, not first.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Well, I just think we've seen Montel stun and finish way better people than this guy. That's all I'm saying. And this guy has been finished in the first round, I think, twice.
Oh, there you go. I forgot me and you might have already been talking about that.
No, we weren't.
Dan.
Marcelo Rojo, who we saw last week, got finished.
Yeah, I know.
He finished him in the first round. Sorry, Marcelo finished straight in the first round, I mean, so. And in an amateur fight.
Sweet little Topology is awesome. You want to scroll down a little bit, Daniel?
Yeah, sure.
Lieutenant?
Yeah, not really great value. Maybe that second round. Hope he survives, but
round 1, 2.3, round 2, 5. Ooh, that might be that. I don't mind that.
Oh, Montel Jackson submission. There we go. That could be it. This guy's never been subbed before. Is he a really good jiu-jitsu or something?
He's a striker, is he not?
Well, if he's not if he is, he's not technically trained. Sorry about that.
I'm not sure. It's a good question. I don't know.
Because that seems pretty high. That seems pretty high to me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You got the sub recently against what was it? I'll have to look. Jog my memory. Yeah, it was stitched up at the Darsh against Brian Kelleher. after starting.
Oh yeah. You know what? Might be a good play, Dan. That's definitely somewhere we're gonna look for sure. But I think we're all going
the
with
straight finish. 1.57x. Strader to win by decision. If you got Montel, if you have Montel, if this guy somehow just has developed like a granite chin, Montel absolutely
can walk through the
he's
bombs.
done on several occasions. Absolutely gasses himself out in the first round, trying to take him out of there, and then I don't know. But this guy ain't Brett Johns. This guy ain't winning.
No.
Yeah, I would say no, but we will move on once again, people. Okay, we got another fucking sweet fight coming up. Okay, we got a middleweight bout at 185 pounds. See, this is where it gets crazy. We're going to talk about this one for a minute. We're between Trevin Giles, 6 foot with a 74-inch reach, 4-2 in the UFC with a 13-2 MMA record, 6 knockouts, 5 subs, taking on Roman Dolidze, 6 foot, who I already said is fucking sorry, 2-0 in the UFC with an 8-0 MMA record, 4 knockouts, 3 subs. I mean, Roman Dolidze, a very, very, polarizing figure. Definitely a lot of people who are fans of the UFC have been watching this guy since he's entered, World European Grappling Champion, ADCC Champion, a guy who's definitely looks the part, and has showed he can put the striking pedigree together to make a difference in some of these fights. I think we've seen it. We've seen it look pretty good, and then we've seen it look somewhat skeptical. As far as his last fight, that was a split decision win against John Allen. I mean, good kicks throughout the fight. He was rolling for some good takedowns. He ended up looking for heel hooks. He's one of these guys, very flashy, looking you right down in your face, talking. Having a good time. He was working well in the hands and feet. He ended up shooting a good double-leg takedown to start the second round, and he was working well from half. I mean, he ended up moving well throughout the third as well, and then shooting for a takedown. It was a very close fight. And he ended up switching stances the whole time. It was a big trade-off from him and John Allen the whole fight, basically just trading leg kicks, trading shots from range. I mean, Dolidze almost looked like he needed to step on the gas more at certain points, so it's going to be telling. As far as the Kitas Ibrahimov fight, that was a knockout win for Roman Dolidze, in which came out in the fight really well, kicks and punches, both men kind of going at it. Both men looking to land power and looking for a finish. Kitas pretty much ended up getting finished with one knee as he kind of ducked in for like an overhand / TD / single leg. And it was pretty much a kick, but he ended up getting hit with the knee of Dolidze, and he was just knocked out cold. As far as Trevin Giles goes, he's coming off a knockout win over Bevon Lewis, in which he was looking for the takedown early, but he wasn't able to keep him down. He was using his jab throughout the fight, check hook. He ended up catching and dropping Lewis at one point in that fight. He ended up dictating the second, landing very well and pressuring. The hand speed and the confidence you just saw was just growing throughout that fight. It was just it's a very telling thing, and it did look very good. He ended up dropping a nice 1-2 and then a hook. And it was just deliberate, sharp shots throughout the fight, and that was the finisher for him. I mean, Trevin Giles is definitely, improved as far as his striking, as far as what's coming to the UFC. His fight against James Krause. I mean, James Krause fighting up a weight, taking that fight on short notice. How much do you put into that fight? I'm not really sure. I mean, he ended up jabbing well, but I mean, we did actually ended up, we saw early in that fight, you saw Krause kind of looking for these RNCs, not able to get them, but you did see Giles, show his jiu-jitsu ability. Was the guy a little bit smaller than him, of course, but he did show the ability to get off some of these tight submissions. And he ended up, taking over in the striking game. And pretty much, we did see Krause come back, later in that fight, trying to start dictating that fight again. But, it was definitely a learning lesson for Trevin Giles, and it's a good thing to see because, I mean, Krause is a very skilled guy.
The fight, Matt? Because I think fucking Krause won that fight. I think he won that third round. He won the first round. Because he had that body lock for like 2+ minutes, trying to change, continued to attack the submission. That's one of them there. He's more active at the gate in the third. I don't know. Yeah. Obviously, I was watching that earlier today, but
it was close. Yeah, I watched it today too. It's close.
That was just the heart of Krause. It was awesome. It was an awesome fight.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
Yeah, I think ultimately in this fight, I think that it's going to be a very hard fight. So Roman Dolidze's last 2 fights, 205 fucking pounds. Now he's cutting down to middleweight. How do I feel about such a thing?
Not just his last 2, but he's never fought it.
He never fought at 185 pounds. What does that automatically mean for me? I'm not betting on this fight till I see this motherfucker hit the scale. Scale, people.
Scale.
Scale. Weigh this
I
guy
will pick
up.
him for now, though. I'll pick him by stoppage for now.
I like Roman
Giles is
too.
pretty tough. I think he might be able to sub him if he gets him
That's
down.
what I'd
Sweet
probably
knee
go.
bar.
Yeah, no, I'd go with the sub. Why not? I bet you can get some good odds on that.
At the end of the day, I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight. Like the surgeon was saying, like Dolidze is an absolute performer in the octagon. That guy's out there taunting people. Obviously loves to be there. That fucking
Giles is
knockout.
there to fight too, though.
That knockout
Giles
in
is
his first
definitely-
win was
man.
so brutal. The amount of power, like because he was pretty
Good
much trying to
fight.
high kick him, and he steps in and
Stepped into the knee. It was just
right
so
on
much
the
power.
chin. It was so
Yeah.
bad.
I feel bad for the guy, but I mean,
But,
Cadiz
like,
did
yeah,
that.
obviously,
Cadiz did
yeah.
that to people too. So
How recent was the Dolidze's last fight?
how long ago was Dolidze's last fight?
Yeah.
I believe it was on the. Sorry, I was just looking at the the Bellator card that's coming up. That's going to be a fucking great card.
Oh Jesus!
I mean, what can I say, man? What can I say? It was in 2021.
December-
It was on the
December 5th.
what card?
The John Allen was on the
Oh, sorry, it was on the 2020.
Hermanson Vittori.
Hermanson Vittori. Okay, so that's even before the channel. That's before the channel even started. Okay. That outdates the channel. That was when I was still on Myron's.
Yeah, I think but honestly, if the fight just takes place on the feet, I think Giles probably be able to
That might have
at
been the
least
first card I
outpoint him,
recovered.
unless if he gets caught, like it's such a tough. I think this might be the toughest fight to pick on the card.
See, I'm thinking if it goes to decision, it's probably 50-50. But I think Roman's a bit more likely to get the stoppage. That's where I'm looking right now.
Yes, absolutely, I'd agree. I think he can. I definitely. Well, unless by him going down to 185, he's draining himself, and then he
Too
gets
much,
caught.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because like fucking Trevin Giles fucking bangs. Like that guy throws
Yeah.
bombs. So like
Yeah.
just because he's going down in weight doesn't mean he can necessarily just eat those punches like Cheerios.
Yeah, I'd love to. Gotta
Could
see. what
lose
this
We
his
guy's
gotta
Up
see
and
doing.
this
down,
guy. He could be an absolute zombie on the scales.
He could not make weight. I hope he does.
Yeah,
Hope he does. Hope he
I
does.
hope he does. Yeah.
I hope so.
He's
as
definitely
well.
there.
I
There's
think
got to be
we all
reasoning
do.
behind this cut down to 185. You know what I mean? There has to be.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe the UFC said there's no home for you here at 205 anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, he is pretty. He's like a pretty like as far as like size goes. He's probably middleweight size.
Well, we'll see how he looks
A huge
tomorrow.
difference. Though.
Tomorrow's
Yeah,
the
we're gonna see how
weigh-in
he
now.
looks tomorrow. It's gonna
Like,
be
was he
interesting.
not cutting to go to light heavyweight? Like Jesus Christ, yeah, we'll
Probably
see.
not.
We'll be telling you. Yeah, like obviously we're good
But
to
that
look at stuff
probably
now,
has to
but
be it.
it's such a massive factor in this fight. 20 pound
Huge.
difference. It's massive.
Yeah, you're cutting 20 fucking pounds, and you're not. You've never
Well, at
fought
least
at that
who
weight in your
knows with
life.
this guy? I wouldn't
And
be
you've never
surprised if
fought
this
at
guy
that weight in
walks
your
around
life?
like 220 plus.
Oh, and he used to fight. Oh yeah, I forgot he started his fucking pro career at heavyweight.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. We'll
What
Oh,
the
we've seen
fuck?
guys like Jared Cannonier have success with moves like this. So at the end
Oh
of the
yeah,
day, we
absolutely.
just
Yeah,
have to
but
see.
that's more so him, like-
Absolutely.
That's 3 months ago though. Like that's a tough. Even like 3 months is a long time to kind of transform your body, right? Like.
I don't know. We'll
You know what I
see-
mean?
we'll
Like you're not
see how
going
he
to do
looks on the
Jared
scale.
Cannonier body transformation in 3 months, but yeah,
I'm kind of excited now to see this. See what
It could be
what
awesome.
happens
He could be an absolute
Yeah.
killer at middleweight, but
tomorrow.
no,
I'll be
yeah,
watching the shit.
it's
out
gonna
of
be
the
a great
weigh-ins.
fight. This is a fight of the
always.
night
Yeah.
candidate.
It's gonna be a great fight. Great fight.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Absolutely. Got another great fight. We just
This is a
stacked
fucking awesome.
lightweight
Yeah,
better.
like, these on prelims, like we got a great card. People like the
We
UFC.
do.
Obviously, at this point, we say it every week because we're getting fucking great cards every week. And like we'll continue to say it. keep fucking throwing shit like this at us. Wow.
Absolutely, man. It's an awesome little card, and then obviously everyone knows what we're getting next weekend. We'll be talking about that. We got a lightweight better at 155 pounds between Grant Dawson, 5'10" with a 72-inch reach, taking on Leonardo Santos, 6 foot with a 75-inch reach. Dawson 4-0 in the UFC with a 16-1 MMA record, 3 knockouts, 11 subs. 2 TDs in at least all of his appearances here in the UFC. So very takedown dominant guy in his first 4 fights and in his career. That's kind of what he does. Santos, on the other hand, like I said, 3 knockouts, 9 subs, 7-0-1 in the UFC with an 18-4-1 MMA record. 3 knockouts, 9 subs, 7-time Jiu-Jitsu world champion. Very interesting little fight coming up here. We got Leonardo Santos coming off a fight against Roman Bogatov, in which it was a UD win. I mean, he just looks to try and use his range and his straight shots throughout the fight. He was trying to land that right hand, and he was just kicking well. I mean, he stands very tall, is from what I've seen in a lot of his shots, and he's just looking to land. And in some of those positions, does it set you up to, have your legs attacked and, be taken down? Of course it does, especially by a guy that's going to be hunting like Grant Dawson. He really started to rally in the second from Santos. I mean, he was landing a head kick and a flurry of punches and knees. You could argue this fight, possibly could have been stopped at that point. Bogatov was able to finish the takedown like a desperation one after surviving a flurry of shots and start to try and work. You saw Santos pretty much, get a little bit more exhausted and look pretty much dead in the third, and then in which you saw one of the craziest rounds me and Dan were talking about I've seen in the UFC.
Yeah, definitely the most underrated. Nobody would be saying, "Oh, this is a contender for one of the craziest rounds." Like, no, you wouldn't be talking about that. I just rewatching it. I'm just like, holy shit.
Two illegal knees to the groin consecutively.
Oh, the third round. You could almost see the third round was crazy.
Both where Bogatov went down and Bogatov was gassed already, so he took the full 5 in both of them.
Like,
so
bro, you just look at the knees too. It's just him in the clinch. It's not him like aiming at anything. Just let me just chuck up my knees up the middle. Hope I don't.
Yeah. They're so bad.
Fuck.
So then obviously he's getting warned. He gets warned. He's like, I'm taking a point. Like, if you do it again, like, absolutely. Like, Goddard. I think it was Goddard, right? It was pissed.
Yeah, it was Goddard. Yeah, I remember Goddard in the second one.
And then and then the best thing ever. Right after that, resume action. Illegal knee to the head.
I like to call it the
2-point intentional call. 2-point intentional call from Mark Goddard. 2 points right off. And I was fucking like, holy shit. So there's no way that Santos was going to win. Even in the last 40 seconds, Bogatov's coming out his ass. And Santos is looking like a zombie. Santos is looking like a zombie. I'm like, oh my God, he could still get knocked out in 40 seconds. I was like, it doesn't even matter. The points don't matter. You
gotta think about it. Like, he's not really, obviously he's recovering, and Bogatov's out there rested and gets like 10 minutes of rest. Like, this guy's fucking ready to go. Yeah, that knee does kind of concern. That was a really bad knee. Really bad. Like right up.
Oh my God. Like, okay, you're right. Let me go through.
Jesus Christ. Not even that. That's fucked.
Wait, let me keep going.
Yeah, that was bad.
And then we saw the Stephen Ray fight. I don't know if you guys saw the Stephen Ray fight. He was kicking the body with a leg ball, jabbing straight, and then he just pretty much.
It is Stevie.
Stephen.
Okay.
Stevie. Pull counter right down the middle. Knockout for Santos. It was beautiful. As far as Dawson goes, he's coming off of, like I said, very heavy in his takedowns, at least 2 takedowns in all of his 4 UFC appearances. He's coming off of a UD win over Nad Namari. Narimani, might have pronounced that wrong. Very good at landing a variety of kicks and punches throughout. I mean, he was attacking the leg pretty much. He'll, bait you into, some kicks and punches right at the start, trade with you for a couple seconds. When you feel comfortable, boom, he's going to attack the leg, look to get the takedown. He's, very explosive. He's able to reverse takedowns and, pretty much get into half and just look very good on the ground. Heavy top pressure throughout the fight. Able to move well, continue, and, do the kind of same approach in the second. In the third, he was able to mix it up a little bit more, get a little bit more to a flow state, throw some more shots, and mix in some takedowns, I believe, in that third. But I mean, just looking very good. Already pretty much having his opponent dominated at that point. As far as the Derek Minor fight, that was a submission win in which he dropped him early and then pretty much looked for a guillotine. It wasn't even like in which Derek Minor dropped dropped Dawson early, looked for a guillotine that wasn't even close to locked in. He was transitioning to the armbar. He was trying to look crafty from the guard. I mean, Dawson was able to stay heavy in top pressure and able to work good ground and pound. And then the second round started with pretty much him getting pressed and looking for that same guillotine, and then getting slammed to the mat, back taken and submitted. I mean, or getting the submission. Sorry. Like I said, submitting minor. I mean, it was it's definitely a hard fight to call. I mean, I think that you've got a lot of variables in this fight. There's a shitload of variables in this fight, probably more than you'd think looking at some of these fights. I mean, obviously, I think with the first one being that Santos is a little bit he's a little bit older now. He's 41 years of age. He's had stints throughout his career, which. Well, his career started late as far as in mixed martial arts. Like I said, he was a jiu-jitsu world champion before. I mean,
but he is also
he's also an Ultimate Fighter winner. He's done
Brazilian.
a lot of yeah.
So it neutralizes. 41's the new fucking 32.
It's it's like the age like fine wine. We've said it a million times
Athletic
here.
crimes.
It sounds crazy. It's almost but he's one of these guys that had some injuries for at some points in his career, holding him out for a couple of years. It's gonna be interesting to see, can Santos get it done over Grant Dawson? The younger guy who's really showing a lot in his appearances. I'm not 100% sure.
Sorry. You brought up the lightweight being at lightweight, or?
Oh, yeah. So we've got me and Dan also. We're talking about this. So Dawson's fought at 145. He's fought at a bunch of different weights though. Didn't he fight the catch weight at 165?
He's fought at 165 as well.
Yeah.
But he's fought. Yeah, he's fought. His pro debuts at lightweight, but he's only ever fought at featherweight in the UFC.
Yeah, and when he fought at featherweight one time, he missed by 4.6 pounds.
His last fight was a catch weight at 150.
Yeah,
not the last fight. His last
minor
fight.
He missed by 4.5.
Yeah, in the minor fight, he missed weight by 4.5 pounds.
That's bad.
Yeah, that's not great. It's definitely going to be a big question is, can Dawson hang with Santos? Good question. I really don't know how to call this fight. I really don't know.
But let me
how
ask
I
you
wanna
this.
pick this fight.
Where can Dawson hang with Santos? The clinch?
Striking.
A lot of places.
Striking? I don't know about that. I
think that there's a good I think I'm gonna have to go with Santos. I think he's just got that little bit of
the guy
Brazilian flavor.
hasn't lost weight. How long?
Oh yeah, Dan's got his little go Dan.
Sorry, let me look this up. No, keep going.
You said it. It was like a 12-year reign, wasn't it?
No, but keep going. I'll look it up.
No, I think that I'm going to have to go with Santos in this fight. I think that he's going to show something that's going to be a little bit too much for Dawson to deal with at certain points. I'm going to be interested to see with, how the power of Santos and how Dawson deals with that, how he deals with the striking, how he deals with maybe a guy who's able to defend takedowns. I don't know if, like I said, Santos does stand up very straight, making him, available to definitely get taken down for sure. And that can always be a problem. So we will see. That's
Sorry. What was the last thing you just said?
Santos does stand like very tall in the air, and I think it leaves him susceptible like while he's punching to get taken down.
But he does have very good takedown defense, so he did get taken down by Bogotov in the last.
I know.
Not all those attempts.
I'm taking Santos.
Even after the break.
It's super risky though.
I just don't see an easy path to victory for Dawson in this fight to justify this line against a guy. So obviously he lost in the semifinals of the Ultimate Fighter Season 2 Brazil against Santiago Ponzinibbio. But other than that, obviously doesn't count on his professional records and exhibition. But technically hasn't lost professionally since 2009. Like this guy at 41, it's not like he's out here. He's not like he doesn't have some kind of crazy like Nogueira record. Like it's something like no, it's like he doesn't have that many miles. He doesn't have that many crazy fights. He's got a lot of quick finishes. This guy, obviously, with that base in jiu-jitsu, he's so lethal.
And he's got the body for it too. You know what I mean? He's got the body for it too. He's got a dominating
Oh,
reach.
he's got a great frame. He's got a great lightweight frame.
Yeah, he's got a very
Having
good reach.
fought,
Like
obviously, Ultimate Fighter, I guess that was welterweight, right? That had to be a welterweight that season with Santiago. Yeah.
probably.
What a season, though, when you think about it. I think about those guys in that season. Diego Santos, Santiago Hugo Ponzinibbio.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah, great season. Doug, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna go with Dawson in this one. I think he takes by decision, probably. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the decision. I've got that down. I like his pressure. I like the pace. You know, I always look for that. That's one of the things I look for. I think he's gonna have. He's gonna be putting it on Santos a little bit more with the wrestling. I think the scrambles are gonna determine this fight. I think that's gonna be the big factors. Who wins those crazy scrambles? Who's able to thrive in the chaos? And I'm going to go with the younger guy in those situations, but I do think it's closer than the line's telling. I like this fight, and I like the last fight.
Oh, God, that's disrespectful.
It's
fucking disrespectful. 6-1 on the seven-time Jiu-Jitsu world champion.
To sub him?
Yeah, I think the amount of
snatching
submissions that Minner had that were so deep.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that the 7-time Jiu-Jitsu world champion is not cinching that up and putting this guy to sleep. Like no, Dawson's got so much skill, but like,
and he's got the youth, and
I think his usual game plan.
I think if this fight gets, this is another one where if it gets stopped, I'm going to go with Santos. If it goes to decision, I'm going to go with Dawson.
Yeah, I can see him. I could see Dawson winning a close decision. I could see that. But I just think,
I think it's going to come down to the scrambles and that
when
one.
You
I think
consider
it's comes out on top of those and who can control.
No, I like that. I agree with that, Doug. I agree with that.
Santos is one of these guys. He's like Jacare, one of these crazy guys who like they're so like you think, why aren't you just fucking taking people down and choking them out? It'd be so much easier for you. But they have some of these guys. They got that fucking power, and Santos has that in his right hand too. We saw like he's gotten touched up by a couple different guys that he's fought against. Sorry, I was looking at it was that Trezano fights. He was getting light up by that by the jab of Trezano until obviously he got at the finish in the second. But if he's not able to get those takedowns, he runs into some problems. And I think he'll get touched with that jab. And then a nice 1-2 might put him on his ass, and that might be all it takes. I don't think he's going to be as tough as that fucking Russian. That guy could nothing can fucking kill that guy.
One to watch.
This is gonna be an awesome fight, though. I just think the value on the guy, like,
yeah,
I won't be picking Dawson at those odds, and I'll be playing the former Ultimate Fighter champion. Because Dougie, he lost that fight though, but then Santiago had broken his hand.
Replacement.
Yeah. So
I love that
end up
shit.
stepping in, winning it. That's how you do
Love
it
that
sometimes.
Shit. Love that shit. Okay, I think.
I think that's
fly on for this one.
What a fight, though.
Okay, now we've got a good, a quick span of 2 fights. We're gonna fly through these ones. Pretty good fights, though. We got a bantamweight women's weight at 135 pounds between Marlon Reneau, 5'6" with a 68-inch reach, taking on Macy Chiasson, 5'11" with a 72-inch reach. Reneau, 5'5", 5'1" in the UFC with a 9-6 MMA record, 5 knockouts, 3 subs. Chiasson, 4-1 in the UFC with a 6-1 MMA record, 2 knockouts, 2 subs. I mean, this is one of those fights where it's kind of interesting. If you look at Macy Chiasson, she's coming off a UD win over Shayna Young. I mean, she looked pretty good in that fight. That was after her coming back off, the kind of more kind of disappointing loss to Lena Linsberg. I mean, she's seen some pretty good fighters throughout her career. I mean, that's for sure. Am I going to be betting on this fight? Probably not. As far as Marlon Reneau goes, I mean, 5 knockouts, 3 subs, 5-1 in the UFC. I mean, Marlon Reneau is one of these women that could, really has a lot of respect for her. Been around the UFC for a long time. The UFC's oldest active fighter. I mean, it's nice. It's nice to see that she's still, going strong and stuff like that. Is she necessarily going to come out and win this fight? Coming off 3 straight losses to Raquel Pennington, a UD loss, which was a good fight by Pennington. Another UD loss to Kunitskaya, which Kunitskaya was able to dominate that fight. And then a fight to Kat Zingano in 2018. And it's been split since she's fought. I mean, like, once in 2018, once in 2019, once at the midway point of 2020, and now 2021. So she's spacing these out, and as she should. It's gonna be definitely it's gonna be a good fight for sure. Could it go either way? Yeah, sure. I think maybe it could, but is Marla Reneau maybe showing her age, and her last win was being in 2018? I don't think that's a fair statement. Chiasson could have her day any day. I do think that I see Macy Chiasson probably winning this fight via decision, though. Possibly by stoppage, maybe. That might even be a nice one.
I'd agree with you on that one. I think Reneau she's 43 now, and I mean, you can't hold on. She's solid. She's a solid fighter, but I think Chiasson should win this fight. And yeah, it's got to be by decision. I think Reneau's tough enough. She's a crafty veteran. You learn how to survive over time. I think Chiasson definitely wins this one by decision. If Reneau looks good in round 1, I mean, you got to see. 43 though,
this is just another fight. Like, I'm just not touching it. I think Chiasson's gonna win, but like 100% Reneau could win. If she just has a good night. Fuck her being 43. She can go out there and still compete. I don't think it's gonna be. I think it'll be a super close fight, and I just don't like. I won't be touching Chiasson at those odds.
Yep, we are not touching this. I don't think.
A bit steep.
What's Chiasson by finish? It's like,
well, why would you do that?
I don't know. What is it? I just want to see it. I just want to look at all of them, even though we've never seen her get finished. I just mean, like, there's maybe
4-1. I think it should be higher. But I guess not.
Should be. Okay. We're not going to talk about that anymore. We're going to move on to the next one. Boom. We got another intriguing fight here. I mean, it's more intriguing because her husband obviously kicks off the card. We got a strawweight women's bout at 115 pounds between Cheyanne Bays, 5'3" with a 63-inch reach, taking on Monsterrat Ruiz. Monsterrat Ruiz. I think that's probably more close to the pronunciation. 5 foot with a 61-inch reach. Bays making her debut in the UFC with a 5-1 MMA record. Bays 1 knockout, no subs. Ruiz debuted as well, is making her debut in the UFC as well with a 9-1 pro record, 3 knockouts, 2 subs. Bays is coming off of a UD win to Hillary Rose, and Ruiz is coming off of a submission win over Janisa Mawridin. I did not even get a chance to watch tape on either of these fighters. I think we will be probably passing on this. Neither of these women, I don't know, unless you've seen something. Wow.
No, I think
that's crazy odds.
This is a huge favorite for Cheyanne Bays. We haven't really seen anything from Monsterrat Ruiz. I mean, she's 9-1. She just lost her second latest fight in I believe it's a Mexican organization or
it was in Invicta. It was in Invicta.
Texas one. Is it Invicta?
Yeah, it was Invicta to Danielle Taylor too. It was in the UFC at one
Danielle
point.
Taylor is not bad. Yeah.
Well, cut back to Invicta, or she left to go to Invicta. She went 2-3 in the UFC. They might have cut her. So I bet you they did.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm not super impressed with Bays. I don't really.
That was in 2018.
Think the line is justified.
And then that was in 2018.
I think if the end of 2018. I think if what's his name fucking loses, then like Pat was saying earlier, if JP loses, maybe we take a shot.
That's what I said. That's what I said. JP loses. They both one loses. They both lose, Doug. Which is crazy to say, obviously.
They both won a contender series. They both lose on the debuts. That'd be kind of nuts.
What's couple submission wins in the back pocket for Ruiz? What's her by submission?
13.
That's interesting.
It's like, did she not have any?
I think that might be
fights?
the only playable thing here. Not even as a real play, just as like a if you want to touch this fight thing. Because I mean, Baze is young.
that Topology
Baze is a
has
good
up.
prospect. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on Baze for future fights. Both of them for future fights. They're both young talents for that division. So we'll have to keep an eye on how this one plays out. See how both of them look. But for now, I don't think there's really any value on the line here.
Interesting to see if she's going to be able to win this fight.
I think I'm gonna fucking have an easy time staying away from a lot of these women's fights this weekend. They're just very hard to predict. Very hard. Monsterrat.
Oh fuck! That's where I watched that fight. Jesus Christ! It's like, how do I know Pamela Gonzalez that fights in fucking some random organization? Oh, because she fought Josie Edwards. And I was watching Josie Edwards shit. Jesus Christ. I just know all these women. I was like looking through like a Jeep train of different fighters. I was like, how do I know this person? How do I know this person? Like on these people's records, you know what I mean? They all fight each other some if they're in these smaller ones, especially with women's MMA not as established yet. Here we go. This is, we're going to see another, this is an exciting one, man. Here's where they get really crazy. We got a welterweight bout at 170 pounds between Max Griffin, 5'11", with a 76-inch reach, and Song Kenan.
Real crazy. Like they haven't already been crazy.
Song Kenan. I think Kenan. I don't know how to pronounce that last name properly, so I'm sorry if I'm doing any disrespect to it. 6 foot with a 71.5-inch reach. I'm just going to call him Song. Griffin 4-5 in the UFC with his 16.
How else did you pronounce that? What? How would you say it?
Doesn't matter. Griffin 4-5 in the UFC with a 16-8 MMA record, 8 knockouts, 2 subs. Song 4-1 in the UFC with a 16-5 MMA record, 8 knockouts, 6 subs. He's coming off a knockout win to Kalen Potter, in which, Song is one of these guys that's just a very big, heavy, like not heavy, but heavy puncher, very, built, strong, has a lot of explosivity in a lot of his movements. I mean, you can tell when he lands these shots.
He is a big guy, though.
He's big. And you can tell when he lands these shots, like they hurt. You know what I mean? And like he's got a lot of strength on him. He just looks like one of these guys that's very strong. And he just picks a lot of shots very well throughout the fight. And he was able to do that against Kalen Potter and really just put him on with a good combo and take him out. As far as the Krantz fight, that was a UD win in which, he was just trying to walk down Krantz. He was trying to work the legs. That fight started a little bit slower. I mean, he ended up just, moving very well from working the leg and the body. His punches and kicks are very upright. It's a close fight close first start of the second round. As you saw Krantz coming out a little bit more aggressive and Song threw a hook in which he pretty much dipped under for a takedown, used timing, strength, and his power to pretty much at the right time get up out of Derek Krantz's guard and just get right back to his feet. Throughout that fight, you saw he tried to slip out the back, but you saw Krantz still try to dictate some of those grappling positions. Song was able to come up with a variety of hooks and straights in that third round, but then he was also taken down again by Krantz. Krantz was not able to take him down, and then in that third, towards the end, both guys so tired, hands were down. I mean, does that show anything towards cardio? Maybe a little bit, but that was a very high-paced fight. As far as Max Griffin goes, he's coming off of a knockout win to Ramiz Brahimaj, in which he was able to move around aggressively, move side to side, looking to kick, circle, and land. He was able to pretty much freeze his opponent with movement, and then he was able to pretty much keep doing that same kind of movement with strikes, landing the jab very well, a lot of damage being dealt to the face, and then he pretty much ended up disconnecting Brahimaj's ear from the side of his head, in which the ref ended up stopping that fight late. As far as Alex Oliveira goes, late in the second. As far as the Alex Oliveira fight goes, that was a split decision loss in which, he was not circling the same way he was in the Brahimaj fight as far as movement, but he was kind of trying to circle, but was pretty much just trying to come forward. Oliveira was pretty much just able to keep him at bay with his long strikes and his kind of his more karate style stance. Griffin was looking to land some shots that stunned Oliveira and then working well, punching till the end of the round. It was a very good round, but then Oliveira was able to kind of come back and time him coming in and just cut him real bad over the eye and ended up keeping him at bay. You saw the blood start entering Griffin's eye, and then later in that third, I mean, he was just bleeding like crazy. Oliveira opening him up all over his face. He wasn't able to get the takedown, and he actually ended up getting taken down at one point. It was a very I'm sure not the way that the Max Griffin would want that fight to go. I think it's an interesting bout because of the longevity. You know, we've seen Griffin have a lot of it in his career, that he's had in his career, and he's not been able to beat the best, but he's consistency. He's consistently reminding us, he's got flashes as to why he's still here. I think this fight's going to be an interesting fight. I think we need to see Griffin use, good movement to work his range in wrestling. I think we've seen over time Song gets tired in his ability to fade, and so does Griffin. I think Griffin and Song have the tendency to try and look for the finish when they see it and gas themselves a little bit too much in the process. It's definitely going to be a good fight. Do I think Song is going to win? Yes. I think he's going to come in and just show probably a lot of hard striking. Is it going to be a good fight? Max Griffin's no slouch. Absolutely. It could be either way. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm picking Song Yudong, and I think it's going to be. Or sorry, not Song Yudong, Song Kenan. And damn, I was saying that earlier.
You bastard! Jesus Christ! What the fuck did I? Oh, okay.
And yeah, I think I'm going to pick him via decision. I don't know if he's going to be able to get Max Griffin out of there, but we will see.
Yeah, I think Max Griffin's a bit too tough.
He might,
but I think as far as cardio is concerned, that's more so. I think we see him gas when they're going to like a grueling kind of. Well, either Max Griffin's kind of like overexerting himself trying to finish somebody, or they're in kind of more of like a heavy grappling bout. Which I don't think we're probably gonna sit there. We're gonna see these two guys stand there and absolutely trade. Like this is gonna be an awesome fight. I think just stylistically, I think we're just guaranteed to see them just have a great striking battle. And but I think they're both a bit too tough to get finished. But I think I don't know. I don't know what the odds makers are thinking here. I think that.
I don't know, Doug. What are you saying?
Max Payne Griffin. I think obviously he looked great his last fight.
He's like a 50-50 fighter.
Yeah, but he has never won 2 fights in a row in the UFC.
I've got Griffin here by decision. I agree with the decision, and I agree that it should be closer. But I see Griffin winning this. I think it's close. I think the striking's 50-50. Song probably is more likely to get the finish because he throws the better power shots. But I think Griffin has the more volume and better technique. And I think he's if he wants to, he can mix in the wrestling and the clinch stuff as well. So I think it's going to go the distance. And there could be a couple rounds where Griffin mixes in those clinches, or if he doesn't get caught with anything hard, I think Griffin can take this one on the scorecards.
I just don't know if Griffin really wants to engage in the grappling. I don't know if it's really worth it as far as energy is concerned. And I don't think he can necessarily Song's, like Serge was saying, Song's a pretty big guy. Like he did, obviously he got taken down in that fight, but he did show some good takedown defense in the process.
I'm just saying Griffin has a lot of options.
He's pretty in those clinches. He's been throwing those shoulder shots recently. I think I don't think he's gonna have any interest in engaging. Why he has the advantage there, I don't think he's gonna really engage the advantage too much.
One way or another, I think it's going to be a close fight. I think we all agree that it goes to decision.
I think so.
I don't know, though. This guy fucking...
I think you could see Song
swings, but when's the last time...
Griffin's been knocked out?
Griffin's been finished.
Griffin got finished in 2016 by Colby Covington. That was the last time. Grounded pound loss in round 3.
Colby's not really a finisher, even though.
I know. But that's probably just strikes. That's probably more so just strikes.
Accumulation of strikes.
That's probably accumulation of strikes. I think that was.
It's TKO. You said right.
Other than that.
It says ground. Yeah, it says ground and pound.
It says ground and pound. And then other than that, he's never been.
He's been subbed in the Ultimate Fighter.
How did he lose to Jordan Williams, and why doesn't it tell me? He's lost to Jordan Williams in an amateur bout? In his first fight ever? Oh my god. That's kind of crazy. Wow. Okay.
What?
It all goes in 2010. It all goes full circle.
Crazy.
It all goes full circle. Who knows what that weight was even at? Because I remember Jordan Williams fought up at that point.
Crazy.
I think we'll keep moving on though. I don't know, Dan. What are you thinking? What are you pointing out?
It's just weird. I don't even know. No, yeah, I know. I'm thinking Song. No, I think there's a lot of value there. I think he'll. Like Dougie said, if somebody's gonna finish it, it'll probably be Song. So I was also when you're saying full circle, we have Song had lost to Brad Riddell when he was only 2-0.
I know. It's crazy.
Should be a great fight, though. Should be a great fight.
100%.
Absolutely. Oh, there we go. There might be some. I think I got the order right. I don't think I messed it up here.
Another absolute.
Yeah, this looks right.
Yeah, we got a bantamweight bout at 135 pounds between Adrian Yanez, 5'7" with a 70.5-inch reach, taking on Gustavo Lopez, 5'5" with a 67-inch reach. Yanez, 1-0 in the UFC with a 12-3 MMA record, 7 knockouts, 2 subs. Lopez, 1-1 in the UFC with a 12-5 MMA record, 5 knockouts, 6 subs. Yanez is coming off a knockout win to Victor Rodriguez, in which he's able to defend the clinch and the takedown. He was able to look for the reverse. He was throwing a couple good knees in the clinch. He was able to throw good kicks and punches even as he angled off throughout the fight. He was pressuring and hurting / dropping Rodriguez, and just the shots that he was throwing were landing and hurting him. You could just see it in the body of Rodriguez, and then he was able to finish him with a high kick as Rodriguez was exiting one of the exchanges. He had already dropped him about twice in that round, getting the knockout finish. As far as the Brady Huang fight, that was another even closer fight within 30 seconds. I mean, you could just see the difference in speed right away between him and Wang. He was able to check him with a check hook as he came in, and then pretty much just sit him down with a straight right, and Yanez was able to get in there and go and get the finish. That was in a Dana White Contender Series appearance, by the way. Gustavo Lopez, on the other hand, is coming off of a submission win over Anthony Burchak, in which he was, beautiful slipping, able to land the left and right hook, rocking him, switching stances, landing some punches. He was then working into a body clinch. His jab is crisp and pretty stiff. I mean, some of his other shots, like his hook's a little bit more reckless for sure. He's able to take his back and lock in the rear naked choke on Burchak. As far as the Dvalishvili fight, that was a super short notice fight for Lopez, kind of granting him his access into the UFC. Both men were trading leg kicks throughout the fight, in which Merab was taking the body lock. He wasn't able to get the first takedown. Lopez was trying to walk in and throw power really hard way too hard against Dvalishvili, and pretty much throughout the fight, we saw Merab getting takedowns, looking to land some heavy shots, not getting much. Lopez was able to scramble out. They did this about 14 times. So it just showed a lot of heart coming in on short notice for Lopez, and a lot of good things for his cardio, especially to be held down in some of those really terrible positions and being able to work out of them. And I mean, it's like defending some of those takedowns even late looked really good for him. I think that Yanez possesses tons of good tools on the hands and feet, and in a fight which is probably against another very heavy striker in Lopez, who is a little bit more predictable. He throws his punches with tons of whip to them. I think we've seen Lopez have success when he's throwing lighter, in switching stances more, not really sitting on his shots not really sitting on his shots as much. He's almost kind of a counter fighter naturally with his punches, and can catch you coming in. He showed true heart, taking the Merab fight on short notice, putting on a very impressive display of grappling, even though he was outdone. Yanez is someone who's unorthodoxy with their strikes and movement, who is unorthodoxy with his strikes and his movement, but he does have crisp hands as well. I mean, watching some of his older fights against people such as Moel's, which was Moel's first pro bout and his second, he put up a good, this kind of the striking clinic we normally see from him, switching it up very well. I mean, kind of that's what we've seen him do. He has fought, like Dan will say, against other UFC opposition, and those were his last 2 losses, one being Miles Johns. I mean, he could have put up some good shots in that first round against Moel's, but we've seen him. He kind of does have the ability to end up fading. I mean, and there's certain spots where I don't know if he can work from these spots when he's getting held down. So it's a good question. I mean, talking about this fight, it's a very, very hard question for me to answer about this fight. I think it's actually another close fight on this card. I think throughout this card we're getting very, 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 very good fights. I think that this fight's probably just another one of them. It's going to be possibly a fight of the night if we have the ability to pick it. I mean, 2 guys that might just stand there and bang. Most people saying Yanez. Does Gustavo Lopez definitely have a chance to get it done? I think so. Am I going to say Yanez? Probably. Do I think that there's an ability that Yanez gasses and I take Lopez? Yeah. I was thinking about this one all week. Something tells me that it's going to be close, but I'm not really sure. But I do think I'll take Yanez. I think that there's a little bit more polish in his game. I do think that he has the ability to submit him, though, especially if he gasses.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with Yanez. I'm going to say he gets the KO. I really like I think he's one of those sharp strikers that I talk about, where he's got crisp hands. I like just the sharp, the way he throws his punches. And I believe he's black belt as well, so I'm not too concerned about the wrestling of Lopez. I think he'll be able to cancel it out. I think Lopez does have pretty good power in his hands, but I think Yanez will be able to cancel him out and piece him up on the feet and probably get a later KO around 2 or 3.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and I was always bringing up to the surgeon. Gustavo Lopez has been finished in the first round by Andre Ewell. Previously, it's not like he is a guy that has been clipped in the past. So, yeah, like I'm leaning towards obviously, if you are on Yanez now, I think we're all kind of.
I'm still really excited because I think that we could see something. I think Lopez is live.
For sure, Lopez definitely.
I think he's live as fuck.
From what I've seen, like from the fights, like I haven't seen that Ewell fight. I have to rewatch it. I don't. So I'd have to. From what I've seen, he has a good chin. That's what I thought.
You have to think. Like, you
maybe he was at a different weight or something like that. I don't know. But I mean, Yanez has good power and he's got crisp, accurate shots. And
the Ewell fight
I think, as Dougie said, he'll probably have the ability to finish it at some point. But if you're saying, I would say more so first or second round.
I probably think Ewell probably just clipped him with one of those good shots as he came in. Ewell having, an 8.5-inch reach advantage in that fight probably just went with the ruler.
You're saying like the guy uses it that effectively.
I mean, we've seen him from time to time. I mean, that's why I picked Ewell in the last fight. Because he couldn't use it because I thought he was finally figuring out how to use the range. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter anymore. It's very it's intriguing. It's an intriguing bout for me. What's Gustavo? Yeah, that's fucking disrespectful as fuck. Throwing some sub money down on that for sure.
Disrespectful as fuck. Why is it disrespectful as fuck?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
2.75 to 1 underdog.
I can see that happening.
No, I like that. I like the sub though.
I think Lopez is live on the ground, man. Even if it's a fit, like what's him just by finish? Lopez by finish.
Well, he's also Yanez is a black belt. You don't just.
I know, but I've just seen the like. And it's to be said, like most of his fights. I mean, I definitely want to watch the Miles Johns fight, maybe even the Domingo Pilarte fight. I mean, that's all.
You're just gonna you're going to seek out all the losses. I'm not sure why do you even watch the 2014 fight.
I want to watch the Miles Johns fight. I'm getting
confused by
because I was looking for a different fight. I was looking for a different fight.
Looking for holes, I know.
But yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be interesting. Let's move on again. I think we're up here now. This is the short replacement fight. Going to be heavyweight bout at 265 pounds between Tuivasa 6'2" with a 75-inch reach, 4-2 in the UFC with a 10-3 MMA record, 9 knockouts, no subs, taking on Harry Hunsucker, 6-1 in the UFC with a 75-inch reach. Making his UFC debut. He had a Dana White Contender Series appearance. He's 6-3 in the UFC in his pro career with the two knockouts and 4 submissions. He's coming off of in his Dana White Contender Series appearance. A guy who we just saw recently a knockout loss to Jared Vanderaa, in which he pretty much came out blitzing, throwing hooks, trying to land down the middle. He was landing a little bit on Vanderaa. He did show some decent low kicks. I mean, he was just loading up on his shots a ton, just trying to pretty much.
I think you're missing a fight. He fought Corey Moon. Coming off that one.
Oh, sorry. I watched the Corey Moon fight. The Corey Moon fight, yeah, was that the submission that had an arm?
No, that was a first round knockout win.
Oh, maybe I didn't see that one. What organization was that with?
HR MMA.
Oh, definitely missed that. HR MMA. Yeah,
that was February 27th.
Oh shit, that's recent.
Less than a month ago. That's real recent.
The fuck? Why did I not even see that? Oh my god. Holy shit.
Yeah, so he's on a quick turnaround after that was a quick KO for him.
And that was a heavyweight championship fight. That was for 5-5s. Yeah, I mean, gotta watch that. Obviously, that went, that didn't go very long. I mean, seen him in some other fights, where he's gotten submission wins. The Jared Mitchell fight, that was a submission win for him. I mean, Vandera was pretty much just able to, clinch him, take him onto the ground, put him in a controversial position where he's just able to hold his wrist and just pretty much hit the back of his head consecutively and finish the fight. I mean, Tuivasa, he's coming off a knockout win to Stefan Struve, in which, he's pressuring well, looking to land, looking to work on some clinch shots. Tuivasa was landing some good shots in the clinch and even looking to break the clinch, and he was landing some shots out of the break. He was even landing a couple of leg kicks trying to damage that leg. He was able to pretty much crowd Struve and land some hooks. Struve was looking for the takedown, kind of slipped, falling on the ground, and then Tuivasa was able to kind of climb on and finish. The Sergey Spivak fight, that was a little bit of a change around, a fight in which Spivak was able to kind of dominate the fight, in which with his takedowns, but we did see some hard leg kicks and some hammer fists to start that first round as he pretty much dropped Spivak off of a good leg kick. Spivak was pretty much just looking for takedowns from that point, and he was just able to get them at will pretty much. Spivak was beginning to wear on him with takedowns, and Ty was pretty much getting 5 for 5 takedowns in the first round, and Spivak was able to pretty much just come out in the second, land some punches on the ground, get him back in another position. Tuivasa didn't really have the energy to get up from that position and ended up getting head and arm choked. I mean, definitely a close fight. 100% taking Ty. Not definitely a close fight. Taking Ty Tuivasa 100% here, no doubt.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a first round up down knockdown or knockout win for Tai Tuivasa. Hunsucker's never got out of the first round in his pro career. Don't see why this one would be any different. I think it's just a level up. I think he probably gets knocked out pretty early here.
Yeah, agreed. It's going to be interesting though. I bet you these both guys might.
Yeah,
just
I'd probably
stand
have to
there and
agree. I
throw.
wouldn't be that surprised though if we saw.
Hunsucker could catch him. I mean, Hunsucker, all of his fights, win or loss, have been in the first round. The
True.
guy's going to go in there and swing. So no matter how long this one goes, it'll be exciting. I'll tell you that.
I would love to see though.
It's also
I
the
really
line's not that appealing for two of us. So like maybe in a parlay, but
Not really.
still, it's not. It'll probably be in the boost.
Holy shit, eh? Wow. He fought a guy for the
Yeah,
championship.
that'll be in the boost.
Wow. Yeah, no way.
Well,
way.
Hunsucker's
100
also just on a few days' notice. We have to keep that in mind as well. But he's
there's
also
that.
still going to be in shape.
Yeah,
from-
there's
Yeah, that's a
that.
heavyweight.
Preparing to fight
heavyweight
5
stuff.
rounds less than a... Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's losing this fight. Yeah,
The one thing I did like though in that last fight though, we did see
chance.
Tuivasa apparently not fucking walking around in some crazy way. What was it, like around like 300 pounds? Usually, I think he would walk around at, and like cut down to 265, which is absolutely insane. So he was actually, I don't think he even had to cut for the last fight. So
No, he
obviously
didn't. He didn't.
making big changes.
I love that.
And I like to see
I love
that.
that.
So
That's good. Good to see.
I don't,
Yeah,
makes me
if
less
I'm
incentive
betting this
for me
one,
to
it'll
dip
be
into-
Tuivasa round 1.
I heard.
it'll be
that,
interesting to see what the props look like.
I heard
see those
Tuivasa have been out training in like Dubai or something for the last little while or something.
Out on Fight Island or something. Who knows?
Interesting. Okay.
And we don't have any more lines for that
Move
one.
on, I
so
guess.
let's-
Yeah.
Yep, we're
let's
moving on.
Get on then. Co-main.
Right on to the co-main.
Co-main, people. Another good fight. Lightweight bet at 155 pounds between Gregor Gillespie, 5'7" with a 71-inch reach, taking on Brad Riddell, 5'7" with a 71-inch reach. Gillespie, 6-1 in the UFC with a 13-1 MMA record, 6 knockouts, 5 subs. Brad Riddell, 2-0 in the UFC with a 9-1 MMA record, 5 knockouts, no subs. Gillespie is coming off of a knockout loss in November of 2019 to Kevin Lee, in which, shooting for a takedown early, looking to exchange jabs with him and Lee. He ended up cutting Kevin Lee over the face. I think he was having success on the hands and feet. Does have some very crisp striking. I mean, Kevin Lee was landing that right, though, landing some power, definitely rocking the head of Gillespie back. You saw that, both guys were just willing to pretty much stand there and box with each other. And at one point you saw, Kevin Lee land that right hand again, pretty much stun Gillespie. Gillespie tried to back out of range, in which Kevin Lee caught him with a head kick, clipping him, knocking him out bad. A very highlight reel knockout for Kevin Lee and a scary knockout for Gregor Gillespie. As far as the Yancy Medeiros fight, that was a knockout win for Gregor Gillespie, in which he was looking to wrestle early, looking to take the back and looking for trips. He was sniffing for the takedown pretty much throughout that opening. he was able to dominate the groundwork, having more success in the second round, being able to work with shots and pretty much getting into that position where he was able to finish Medeiros eventually. As far as Brad Riddell goes, he's coming off of the UD win over Alex de Silva Coelho, in which it was a UD win in which Riddell was pretty much stepping in, trying to land hard power. And then pretty much when he tried to step in the second time, he was taken down by Silva. He was able to work back up with about a minute or so left. He was being pressed against the fence. He was pretty much defending that takedown for a good portion of that opening. Riddell was able to kind of start creating some space and flow with his punches, being able to mix it up to the body well too. Riddell pretty much really started to throw punches at pace and sprawling. It ended up, there was a point there even too where it probably should have almost been a knockout win for him, but he was able to take that all three, and Silva was able to survive, Brad Riddell getting the UD win. The Magomed Mustafayev fight, that was a split decision win for Brad Riddell, in which Mustafayev was he was walking Mustafayev down with punches to start the fight and dropping him with the right hand, following up with some shots. He was just consistently searching for takedowns from Mustafayev, and not much was happening. Like Mustafayev just wasn't able to kind of, it was very back and forth. He was landing the kick well to start the second round, and he was landing that huge right hand again. I mean, the takedown for Riddell in the third, and he was able to land some punches before he pretty much returned to the clinch. That was pretty huge for him. It was a very close fight. I think this, we've seen throughout this card, it's got some of the harder fights we've been tasked with calling, I think, throughout the last couple of weeks. I think this fight's definitely going to be one of them. Both men very, very well versed in keeping themselves active throughout the fight. Riddell being the one who prefers to dictate the fight on the hands and feet. I don't see Gillespie wanting this fight on the hands and feet, coming off that long layoff. Is that first professional knockout, lost to Kevin Lee, and it was one of those astonishing KOs. It's definitely a hard fight. It's another hard fight for me to call. I think that eventually in this fight, I think that we're probably going to see, it's so really so hard to call. I honestly think I'm going to end up going with Brad Riddell in this fight. I think we're going to see Riddell's kickboxing probably play dividends. I think that Brad Riddell might even have that ability to keep Gillespie off of him. Gillespie's got all the credentials behind him. This 4-time Division I wrestling champion has all these kind of records as far as wrestling goes. But I do think that Brad Riddell's kickboxing, I think his movement, I think he really does show that he's able to kind of put it on people. Is it going to get close? Yes, maybe. Is that why people are maybe thinking that, Gillespie's probably going to win? Probably, because Riddell always has close fights or has had close fights as of recent, and especially against the guy that, has a little bit more wrestling. Is it going to be close? Yeah. Definitely an interesting fight. Like, we've got, Gregor coming off the layoff. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I do not know. I think I'm going to have to end up going for Brad Riddell via decision.
I'm going to go against you on this one. I'm going with the best fisherman in MMA, Gregor Gillespie. I went against him in the Kevin Lee fight. I thought it was a big step up too early for him. But I think this.
So did me and Serge. We we profited big on Kevin Lee on that one. Pat.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I think so.
But this fight, I like him in this one. I think he's taking the time off. I think he handled the loss really well from what I've seen in interviews. I like everything that he said. He's had a lot of time to get better. He was getting a lot better each fight. He was still relatively new to MMA. He's got all the wrestling credentials. I think Riddell's got that Aussie toughness, so it does go to decision, even though Gillespie has a lot of finishes on his record. I think it goes to decision, and Riddell is definitely live. I'm not sleeping on him at all, but if I have to make a pick for this fight, I'm going with Gillespie by decision.
So the only thing I'll disagree with you on, Dougie, is I think he'll be able to maybe soften him up and get that sub at some point. But yeah, I think I'll have to go with Gillespie as well. I think as good as Riddell is, I don't know how he's going to be able to compete in him. Like maybe in the first round, but by the time it's the second round, I think Gillespie will have worn him down and he'll be able to. At least he does. In Gillespie, he's got such good control that he doesn't need like a lot of takedowns. It's not like a Marab where he's going to take you out 13 times. No, he'll take you down, keep you there, beat you the fuck up, and maybe even sub you. That being said, obviously Riddell's super tough, but it should be a great fight.
I'll probably swap. I'm not going to pick that many dogs. I'm going Gillespie. I'm not going to swap.
Wow,
I'm going to swap.
God, who knows?
I can't pick over half the card worth of dogs. I can't. That'll be too crazy. Well, I'm realizing it now.
That's not why you pick them, but okay.
Well, I know it's. Well, what did I say? It's going to be fucking close. I said a huge night. How did I start it off? Huge night of close fights. Some of the harder fights I've had to pick in my eyes throughout the last couple of weeks, in my opinion. This fight being one of them, right? You got a guy coming off, a devastating knockout and shit like that, and a lot of factors behind it. His wrestling's
every favorite tonight.
What's up?
Wow, that's lazy. I picked every favorite tonight. I didn't even notice. Oh, except
Do you know
for
what the disrespect is? We have the guy
fight.
just coming off the loss to Kevin
Except
Lee
for
in
the
the
next
co-main. We got the man who knocked out Kevin Lee in the first round, deep on the prelims. Leonardo Santos. Dog of the night. That'll be your Grim Reaper, Dougie. I'll have convinced
I'm
you by
not putting
Saturday.
too much in.
I'll probably
his fight against
switch to
Santiago
Gregor,
Ponzinibbio on the. So you have to go in the UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, no, I know where to go to see the Ultimate Fighter stuff.
Yeah, you gotta go directly into the episode though. They don't have it clipped properly. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I'll find it.
It's pretty good.
And here we got it,
To
people.
the main event of the evening.
What a
The middleweight
fucking
bout at
beautiful
185
fight,
pounds
man.
between Derek Brunson, 6'1", with a 77-inch reach, taking on Kevin Holland, 6'3", with an 81-inch reach.
I didn't
Derek
even go
Brunson,
through all
12
those
and 5
lines,
in the
but-
UFC.
Jesus. Okay.
Oh yeah, we didn't even go through them. Derek Brunson, 12 and 5 in the UFC.
Do you want to go back or?
We'll go back over it after. Derek Brunson, 12 and 5, because we all picked unanimous. We all picked Gillespie, and we all pretty much said it's probably going to go the distance. Dan said that he does have the
finish,
ability.
but
Dan, I know that's what you're not letting me talk. That's okay. Let me just talk. I'm doing the fucking middleweight fights. Derek Brunson, 12 and 5 in the UFC with a 21 and 7 MMA record, 12 knockouts, 3 subs. Kevin Holland, 8 and 2 in the UFC. 21 and 5 MMA record, 12 knockouts, 5 subs. Derek Brunson coming off that knockout win to Edmund Shabazian, in which Brunson was taking his time, looking a little bit very much more time in feinting some of his shots, looking to kick the leg, step in with some punches, looking to take that back early when he got the chance, and looking to get that body lock. Brunson was eating some heavy shots, but as he's moving backwards, he was picking his shots well, not rushing into anything. He ended up mixing his wrestling and his punches together very well, shooting for takedowns in the clinch, then coming up with shots and kind of going back to clinch work. Good takedown control right into that side control in that second round, and then he was pretty much able to open him up, almost stop him right before that third, and then in that third, pretty much just stopping Shabazian with shots on the ground. As far as the Ian Heinisch fight goes, that was we saw hard leg kicks and crazy head kick that was partially able to drop Brunson right off the start. And then he was able to defend the takedown, and Brunson was just able to get the recovery takedown. You saw both guys pretty much just landing good shots in that fight between Heinisch and Brunson. Brunson pretty much dictating the fight with more smarter shots, being the less aggressive person, not letting himself get overextended and shooting for good takedowns and being able to defend the few takedowns that Heinisch fought throughout. Very high-paced fight, but Brunson looking a lot smarter in that fight throughout. You just saw, the high output from both guys. I mean, it was a very high-paced fight, and in which Derek Brunson was able to get a UD win over Ian Heinisch pretty decisively. As far as Kevin Holland goes, he's coming over that quick knockout over Jacare Souza, in which, taken down right off the bat by Jacare right off that first kick, and then Jacare just looking for that clinch takedown right again, getting it, and then we saw Kevin Holland looking for that guillotine, but then getting grounded by Jacare, and then in that point we see the crazy, one of the craziest knockouts of the year, those two hammer fists to pretty much end it in transition to getting up, like basically kicking Jacare off of him, some of the craziest stuff. Very, very, very exciting. I mean, that was me and Dan broke that down in our end of the year breakdown. That was one of our knockouts of the year for sure. And shout out to Kevin Holland as of always. I mean, this is a guy who's 8 and 2 in the UFC, 5 wins in the UFC last year. You know what I mean? So it fucking just in the year. So crazy to think. As far as the Charlie Ontiveros fight, that was a knockout win. That was a short notice fight for Ontiveros, and Ontiveros kind of a longer guy himself. Holland ended up looking for the takedown, getting north-south, and then looking for a kind of a head and arm kind of takedown slam. He ended up dislocating Ontiveros' arm. The fight ended up getting stopped. Very, very, another one of these fights where you want to see a guy like Kevin Holland win. I'm definitely picking Kevin Holland, I think, but there's a lot of me that says, Derek Brunson's live in this fight. Derek Brunson, since going to Sanford MMA, 3-0, fighting a lot more cautious, a lot smarter. Have we seen guys that are able to ground Kevin Holland and keep him there and, keep him from advancing and tire him out and keep him in bad positions? Yeah, is Derek Brunson going to be able to be that guy to do that? I'm not too sure. Do I have a lot of faith in Brunson? Yeah, picked him to win over Shabazian. do think he's totally looking better. I don't think he's done it all in his career. Like, I think he's definitely got a lot left in him. Can he beat a guy like Kevin Holland, who's rising so quickly and who's, looking so good in his last couple of fights? I mean, like I said, the Ontiveros fight being a short notice one, it's the dentist fight being a split decision, which the dentist looked close to winning. I mean, it's going to be close, in my opinion. Is this a different kind of level of competition? Yeah. Do I think that Brunson has the ability to ground him and keep him there and win the fight? Yeah.
Wait. Let me push back on that one sec, because I've heard a bunch of people say gateway fight. Fuck the gateway. He just knocked out fucking Jacare. So,
what are you talking about, gateway?
He just.
What are you talking about, gateway? No
well,
one
you just said it. It's a step up.
It is.
Everything's a step up until you're at the top.
But it's not, though. He just beat Jacare. I think it's Jacare's
but it's a constantly evolved.
I think Brunson's a step ahead of Jacare now. Jacare went up to light heavyweight. He came back down. He's on the tail end, I think.
Shit against Brunson's face would beg to differ.
Okay, I'm talking about right now, though. That's why I said right now. I'm not talking about back then. If I was talking about back then, yeah.
But I'd probably still pick Jacare. They would run that back 2 times.
Okay, cool.
I'm thinking it's fuck me, man. I really do want to pick Brunson. Me and Doug were talking about it before, and I see so many good things in Brunson. Do I think he can go 4-0 and topple Kevin Holland? It's very unlikely. Is it totally possible? Yeah. That's why this is a great card, man. That's why this card is so good. Doug, what do you think? Yeah. I can't come up with anything yet.
I'm going with Brunson because fuck it. Because his wrestling. Because I think I've seen Holland get controlled too many times. I mean, at some point, you can't just wiggle your way out every time. It happened with Adesanya, and we hadn't seen Adesanya get controlled. I know he's not moving up in weight, and we've seen him against a guy like Jacare, but the Jacare fight didn't go very long, and he did get taken down. It was a weird knockout. It proves, yes, Kevin Holland is super fucking explosive, and he could just knock Brunson out. Obviously, he has insane power. He's got that finishing ability. He has that it factor that you look for in the UFC 100%. That makes me think, yeah, you should probably pick Kevin Holland. But when I break the fight down, I keep seeing Kevin Holland get controlled throughout his fights. I go back and forth. It's Kevin Holland could finish him, but I see Brunson controlling him and neutralizing the threat better than anyone has before, and I see Brunson winning this fight. I could see him taking it the full 5, just wearing him, dragging him out, using that wrestling to make it a hard grind fight, make it a long night for Kevin Holland.
Dan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm sided with Kevin Holland in this fight. I think while Brunson definitely be able to take him down, probably be able to hold him down at certain points, I think Kevin Holland has 25 minutes to finish him. I don't think he's going to get tired. I think he's taking this fight extremely seriously. He's had the layoff. He's not going to fuck around and be like, as a guy that's fought so many times in a large sequence, this being his main event, he talks a lot of shit. He likes to talk slick, but he, at the end of the day, he knows the opportunity that's in front of him. He is only a few fights away, realistically, from maybe even fighting for the title if he gets the right kind of matchups. Obviously, Brunson's not an easy matchup, but I think I don't know how he's going to do it, but I just see Kevin Holland somehow finishing this fight. Could Brunson definitely grind out a 25-minute decision? Sure, but
yep.
I'm done doubting him after I saw him do that Jacare because that was fucking insane.
Yeah, I doubted him in the Jacare
fight. One of those moments where you're watching a fight.
I picked Kevin Holland against Jacare.
I didn't fucking finish him to finish him.
I hear that.
I thought I remember looking and be like, Jacare hasn't been finished in years. He hasn't been finished since like Weidman or something. I was like, no, I think I had a hedge with like.
No, he hasn't been finished since Whitaker. He didn't even get finished by Yoel.
Yeah, right.
I think the only person who's finished him is Whitaker. Oh no, the only person before that who had finished him was Whitaker. Oh, and Gegard Mousasi with the.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But obviously,
it
people say age plays a factor, but I don't know.
I mean, he's
maybe
he's
even, like,
41.
once
He's
Kevin
at
Holland
that
starts,
age
you
where
never
you start
know. Once Kevin
questioning.
Holland starts talking to your ass in the cage, starts getting in your head, there's a lot of factors to go. Like I think the guy's, yeah, I love the guy. And I think
Yeah,
I'm
I
a
think
fan,
Brunson's
and I'm not
looked really
gonna.
good with Hoofed too since he switched over. I
looked
think
great.
I think that improvement. He's 3-0 since then, I believe, and he's on the way up too now. At this point, I mean, Brunson. We say gatekeeper a few times with him, but when you're at 3 straight wins, at that point, you're looking for big fights. And Kevin Holland, the way he talks, the way he draws people in, he's big fight at this point. And if Brunson wins this, it's a big one for him.
Yep, it's huge.
Winner
hard
of this
for me to
gets
pick
put
this
right
one.
into that contender division, right into the contendership of that division. You get a big name for sure after this one.
Yep. What are these lines here?
I've seen it bounce around a lot. I've seen it get as high as like plus 150 Brunson and as low as plus 120.
What the fuck? What?
That Brunson by decision isn't quite as good as I was hoping. 5.5 is
Kevin
pretty
Holland
good.
split. Put a unit on that, bro.
That makes no sense. When the fuck? Where
Okay.
Derek Brunson's submission wins? Technically, it's probably should be 0. Try to find them. They're not here.
Sorry, what?
Derek Brunson says he has 3 submissions. I don't think that's true.
What do you mean? They just
He's
Who
just
says
wrong.
I mean,
who says they have three?
Sure Dog does. Unless I fucked it up. Unless that's a typo on me.
I think
Could be.
If there's
Could be.
if you're asking who's more likely to be wrong, you or Sure Dog, I'd probably say you.
Okay. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I'm probably gonna have to go with Kevin Holland. Man, I'm gonna definitely throw some cheddar cheese on Derek Brunson. I'm probably gonna favor Derek Brunson by the time the fight comes, but we'll definitely see. I'm definitely gonna want to watch the weigh-ins tomorrow too. It's getting in the stare downs. It's gonna be good. I'm excited. I mean, I hope you guys are all excited. I think these are gonna be some great fights. I mean, it's gonna be a great night of little fights and big fights. I mean, and fuck, we got like 12 of them, so it's gonna be a good time. Always a good time.
Oh yeah, we got interesting close fights on this one. I think we're going to be locked into pretty much every fight on this card. Will be locked in, have a good story behind it, and
oh yeah, for sure.
It's going to be a good week to watch for sure. A good another warm up for another great pay-per-view week.
Oh, absolutely.
And
hopefully
like Pat
load the
said,
counts.
Fight Guys next Tuesday. The first episode of Fight Guys drops. Me and Pat's podcast opens. We're going to be talking the pay-per-view, talking my guy Chiasson fighting, talking Stipe and Ngannou.
Yep.
Everything about that. Everything covering the fight this past weekend. The winner of Brunson Holland. Any
we've had
news
some
in
cuts.
MMA.
Yeah, we've had some cuts recently too. Some more cuts.
Oh yeah, we'll be covering it all Tuesday. Fight Guys.
Absolutely.
First episode.
Absolutely. And I think we're gonna do. I mean, like I told you guys, I think that's definitely record for fastest breakdown. I'm gonna play the outro and then I'll throw the thing up for banter in case anyone wants to come out. We'll talk for 5 or 10 and then we will clip it. Let me just
call it a quick night. Got through all the
Absolutely.
bets. We'll be live on Saturday as well, putting actual money down, live calling the fights, talking about what we see, shooting the shit. Come chill if you're in the chat. That's on both me and Pat's channels.
Absolutely.
Both the names are the names that you see.
Yep.
Subscribe. Come check it out.
And you guys know one thing too. We are definitely always going live a little bit early. That always happens. We always shoot the shit a little bit early, break down these fights. And always, you need to remember one thing. There's going to be timestamps on this entire card. Come back and check it out if you want to look at some of what we're picking in some of these fights. It's definitely a hard fight, in a hard card to look at. Like you can only look at so many things this card, and it's going to be one of those ones where are we going to see a bunch of dogs win? Are we not? Like, could it be one way or the other? I don't know, but it's going to be a good card, that's for sure. I appreciate everybody coming out. Like I said, banter's going to be open for 5 or 10 or whoever long hops in. Maybe LJ pops in here. Who knows? But appreciate everybody. Thank you for coming out. Let's do it.
Medic! Scalpel.
I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on this glorious day.
And a friend.
You aren't duping the doctor. I mean, the doctors look into your eyes.
Jeez, and the fight is over! Michael What did I tell you fools?
What's up, boys and girls? This is UFC lightweight Michael Chandler. And I'm just telling you right now, if you don't go to YouTube and hop on the MMA Bet Surgeon channel, like and subscribe and ingest and digest some of the best UFC mixed martial arts and boxing predictions on the planet, on the internet, then you're doing it wrong. Appreciate you guys. See you at the top.
Well, I mean, here we are. Banter talk. Now we're just kind of talking shit. If anyone wants to hop in, I will post the link real quick. Probably not going to keep it open for that long tonight, in case anyone, but if anyone does want to come in and start talking and start chatting it up, feel free. The link is there. Yeah, I kind of just wanted to get into real quick, just talk about it real quick. I mean, we got the time now. I mean, oh, Dan, you know what you could do? Bring up the lines from that other fight if you don't mind. We didn't really go over those, but it doesn't really, we were unanimous for that, but you can bring them up if you really feel the need to. That one fight we didn't really look at, but we all kind of agreed.
I think that's one we're gonna. I don't know if there's any like way to specifically pick that one. You could say I could see it ending any way though. I could see Gregor winning by decision, which would be my main pick. I could see him slipping in a late sub. I could see him getting the knockout too, though. I could see him with a ground and pound, just piling on those strikes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So that's a hard one to call the way. I think Gregor's going to be a great parlay piece. But as far as victory method, I think I'm going to hold out on that one. Dan's got the lines here, I think.
Beautiful. I'm just reading some articles. Headlines.
Gillespie round 3, 10-1. That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah,
this is gonna
so
be
do
interesting. This is going to be an interesting fight.
Indeed. Yeah, I might
Riddell decision.
no, I'll stick with my original decision of Gregor by decision, but also probably have a little bit on that round 3 prop at 10-1. I really like those odds. So I think that's a bit high.
I hear that. I absolutely agree with that. I'm just looking through some titles. I saw some crazy shit the other day.
Yeah, because he tends to get like the second or third round sub after he's kind of worn the guy down, and maybe he'll just take that extra round with a guy like Riddell.
Yeah.
Should be an awesome fight, though.
And Riddell's a tough guy, too. It could take longer to get out of there for good.
Oh my god. This sounds terrible. I don't even want to read this article.
Especially, they pretty much always have good cardio coming out of. Like, yeah, we've seen good cardio pretty much consistently out of Riddell and everybody coming out of city kickboxing. So,
yep. Dan, did you read the article, or did you listen to Hawani have JDS on recently, or no?
No, what are you talking about? Him appealing the loss?
Him saying, him now comparing in a recent article, comparing the UFC to a dictatorship, and you have to follow it. The way Junior telling the story, the company forced him to take the fight against Marcin Tybura just 3 months after getting KO'd by Cyril Gane, which he was not willing to take. As a result of the refusal, Saganu says the promotion decided to cut him loose.
Jeez. That's not a good look.
And then listen to this. Before they released me, I was in conversation with Hunter Campbell. Before the conversation with Hunter, they offered me to get the fight with Marcin Tybura on March 27th. Dos Santos said, I said, man, it's right now. I came from my concussion with Cyril Gane, the same. I was coming from concussion, and I think, give me some time so then I can get prepared for the fight. I want to fight, but not right now. So then they finally decide to release me. Junior continued, and you know what? It sounds for me like it's like a dictatorship. You have to follow it. Whatever they want. If you don't go away. And I'm here, and here I am, and I went away. Wow, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even like that. That's leaving a sour taste in my mouth. I don't hope that's not something like that's not true. But I mean, it kind of sounds pretty true. Why would he have a reason to lie about that? If you're forcing JDS, I mean, it's I don't know. It's weird. I don't really want to get into the politics of that too heavy, but it's kind of that's definitely a crazy.
It's unfortunate that a legend has to have a sour exit from the sport like that.
Of course.
And anything like that happens.
Of course, agreed, man. Definitely one of those things. I mean, people, I think that most of the stuff that we want to start talking about is Dan's hammering the Twitter, not talking. I think most of the stuff that we do want to talk about will be talked about on Fight Guys. Fight Guys on Tuesday is going to be pretty great.
Yes.
I mean, is it going to have the intro that I want to have going? Possibly. I bet we're going to definitely work on some sort of crazy intro for the future. People, appreciate it. Appreciate you guys for coming out.
Been a good night. Quick little 2 hours.
Quick little 2 hours flying through.
Excited for Saturday. Excited for the weigh-ins tomorrow. See how some of the guys look.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
Dolidze.
Yeah, Dolidze is gonna look crazy. I mean,
other than that,
yeah,
it was a good one.
Dan,
thanks for
anything
coming
else?
out. Peace.
Dan, anything else?
Not for me, no.
Not from you. I mean, people be looking forward for a sweet BKFC. We might be going live on LJ's channel and or Doug's if we're watching BKFC tomorrow. That could be definitely a thing. It's a great little BKFC event. So who knows? People stay tuned.
Figure something out.
Yeah, you might see us. You might see us for a couple hours tomorrow night. So appreciate it, everybody.